and today we are talking about why the 2021/2022 NBA season should be cancelled. Now I know that might sound like absolute blasphemy, cancel a whole NBA season, but you gotta hear me out and I want you to comment down below if you agree, disagree, or what you're thinking. So let's look at this NBA season so far. We've had some good games, some players have some unbelievable performances, some teams doing much better than expected, but let's look at the end of the day. There is over 120 players that have health and safety protocols, otherwise known as having COVID, or being exposed to COVID, or having some sort of COVID, or some craziness of COVID. Now I know the NBA's philosophy is to just keep pushing through because hey, the more games they play, the games that go on, they are able to make revenue on those, but we gotta face the facts. There's over 120 players that have COVID, and the issue with that is we are no longer watching NBA games. The point of the matter is we are actually now watching NBA G League games. A couple of days ago was the Christmas Day games. They are like the biggest games in the regular season of the NBA, and let's look at it. We had Brooklyn versus Lakers, possibly one of the biggest matchups in the game. Two of Brooklyn's biggest players were not playing. KD had some health and safety protocols, and we all know Kyrie Irving is just an absolute fruitcake because he won't get the vaccine. So the point that he doesn't even have COVID but can't play is another factor of why this season should be cancelled, because hey, some people don't want to put a little needle in them, they're not going to be playing and they're still earning $40 million a year. That's not right either. Now these marquee matchups are just going absolutely down the gargler because the superstar players aren't playing. What's going to happen? Game 7 of the NBA playoffs, and it's LeBron versus KD. And suddenly LeBron cannot play because he was exposed to COVID and can't play, or he has COVID or something like that. What's going to happen? Are you going to cancel the whole NBA final series? What's going to be the go? Now one player you can manage. Let's say LeBron does get COVID in a Game 7. To be honest, you got to just let the show go on. But let's say 3 to 4 players of the Brooklyn Nets get COVID. KD gets COVID, James Harden gets COVID, Blake Griffin gets COVID, Aldridge gets COVID, Patty Mills gets COVID. That's 5 of their best 7 players that have COVID. So you're telling me the Brooklyn Nets, A, I don't even think they have the roster amount of people for a playoff series to fill that game, and B, even if they do fill that game, they're missing out on their 5 best players, not even due to injury. So then let's say we're in the playoffs. Let me float you the idea. Why don't we just postpone the season or the games or the series until there's enough players that don't have COVID that are of that certain level? Now that's a potential option, but then again we have to look at the facts. There's a high potential that that series will never get finished because there'll always be someone with COVID. So what should the NBA be doing? If we're being honest, they should really bubble it up again. Make a bubble, and if you don't want to send everyone back to Orlando, back in the bubble, just make them have some limitations going around. Like I saw Jordan Clarkson hit a 3 against Dallas in the Christmas Day game early in the 4th quarter. Now that's great, he hit a 3, whatever. He high-fives at least 30 people in the front row. Now that's awesome crowd interaction, brilliant, we'd love to see that. But mate, 30 people, there's a very high likelihood that someone has COVID. And guess what? He's high-fived them all. He hasn't sanitized his hands. He hasn't washed his hands. He high-fives his teammate. Boom, they too get COVID. He high-fives another teammate. Boom, another teammate with COVID. And at the end of the day, the Utah Jazz can't fill a roster spot because everyone's got COVID. I can't stand it. I'm watching these big games between the biggest teams, Lakers, Nets, and half the good players aren't even playing. People are spending their hard-earned money on seats to watch LeBron James. LeBron's not even playing. But what should really be the verdict of this season? Because at the moment, with 120 to 130 players being COVIDized, there should not be this season going on. Joe Johnson got signed, for God's sake. The man's 40 years old and been playing Big 3. You can't tell me he's got the fitness to play at the top level of basketball. That's ridiculous. At the end of the day, though, come for your boy BD. He's ready for an NBA roster spot. He'll average at least 10 threes a game. So although it does have its negative, it also does open the positions up to these players that aren't at that NBA level and can actually have the chance to prove themselves that they are at that level. So therefore, although COVID might be taking out these superstar players, now the opportunity for these lower level players to come up is much bigger and much more likely that they will get their shot. Now in my personal opinion, I don't know exactly what's right, but at the end of the day, it is also up to the organization and the team for them to control their players, to tell them, hey, stop going out, stop getting COVID, stop doing things to hinder our season and our success. I'm just getting very scared for the playoffs because that's all I can think. Because the regular season, hey, there's 82 games, whatever. They miss a few, whatever. But when the playoffs come and there's 7 games max, teams are going to be really, really affected. And that's only 3 or 4 months away, and I don't know how much COVID's going to change in the meantime. So, NBA, you got to figure something out quick, because I am not enjoying this season, and at the moment, it should be absolutely canned. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Share this with your friends, and I'll catch you later.